Bird was flying right at us carrying a big old carcass. I'm not making this up. Well, it's morning time here at, where are we at? Oh yeah, Lake Somerville State Park. This is a strange concept park, like we said last night. You can see right over here, you can have your campsite, and then right next to it you can have your horses with you. And then apparently there's trails around the park where you can take your horse and go riding. So we tucked right in here last night, and I totally didn't unhook at all since we're getting out of here this morning. Left this thing completely hitched up. This morning I've got to head over to the ranger station because last night we got here after they were closed, and so we are not checked in. We got till I think 9 in the morning to get over there and get checked in, so I'm going to go over there and get that taken care of. And it flew like right at the truck, like right at my windshield. So I scoured the maps and the weather channel, trying to look for a way to skirt the rain, avoid the rain, but next couple of days I don't think I'm going to be able to get out of the rain. I think we're in the rain and we're going to be in the rain as we try to head back north and east. Once I get all the way hitched up and pull it a little ways, I usually just pull out just a little ways and then get out one more time and do a final walk around and make sure everything is secure, didn't forget anything. And then we also always have Kelly get out and she checks the lights one last time before we leave. Make sure all pins are in place, chains are in place, electrical's in place. We are ready to go. Headed to Toledo Bend, South Toledo Bend State Park today in Louisiana. So Google Maps was saying this was going to be 4 hours and 15 minutes-ish, which with stops, that's probably going to be 4.5 plus hours. It's going to be a long day, and it looks like it's going to be rain the whole way, too. Again, stop right now at My HEB. I think we're right outside of Spring, Texas. Kind of lifted up at the last moment. Today's drive was taking us through East Texas. We were kind of on a diagonal heading up through Texas towards Louisiana, towards the border. And this park I picked, South Toledo Bend State Park, once again I picked it for no other reason than it was kind of on the way back to where we were trying to get to. And it's right down at the very, very bottom of the huge Toledo Bend lake system. And we got to the park pretty much when we expected to. The rain had kind of finally stopped and let up. It was still sprinkling a little bit here and there, but not near the kind of rain we were getting earlier in the day. Made it to South Toledo Bend State Park, which is right here, but not without incident. Lifted up at the last moment, and then whatever it was carrying, that carcass, struck right here. Must have been like bone or something. So it was so bizarre. We were just driving down the road, and this footage right here is kind of about when it happened. I'm not sure exactly where we were in East Texas, but this is kind of what it looked like. I mean, I didn't even think to turn the camera on because it all happened so fast, and yet it happened so slow at the same time. Since the bird was flying right at us and we were driving straight towards the bird, it was like it was coming at us in slow motion, and it was just flying straight towards the windshield. This big bird, and it was holding in its mouth some big long stringy thing. We didn't know what it was, and it was coming right at us, and me and Kelly were both like, that bird's coming right at us, look. And it kind of lifted up at the last minute, and it missed the windshield, and it kind of went right over like where Kelly was sitting. And then we just heard this little thump. We didn't feel anything, we just heard a little thump. But then I could see in the rearview mirror that something was going on, so we pulled over and checked it out and saw what had happened, and it was like, wow, it was so strange. Really was bizarre. Wash those guts off my washed the guts off the camper. When we first pulled in, Charlie was going crazy, smelling the guts. That thing it was hairy, because there was a bunch of hair on here, and then that looks like that might be either claws or teeth marks or something right there. But yeah, there was like globs of hair and kind of guts. So we knew that things were going to happen to the camper. It was going to get some bumps and bruises, but this is a little bit more than a bump and a bruise. This is like body damage. So I'm going to be supporting the local Hendersonville economy when we get back and looking into getting some body work done and getting the rig. I need to name it. I need to name the rig, but getting the rig fixed and getting it back out on the road again. So we are waking up this morning to rain, which was in the forecast. And so it's doing exactly what it said it was going to do. So we are going to have to figure out what we're going to do today on a rainy day here in Amococo, Louisiana. That big redwood right over there, that's our park host. And other than us and the park host, we're the only ones here. So I took advantage of that rainy morning and did some trip planning. I had to get the next leg of the trip down. Well, it finally stopped raining today. I think the rain is supposedly going to stop for the rest of the day, and it's supposed to be nice tomorrow. But it's cold today. It's really cold. So this is our spot. And other than the camp host, which that's the camp host right down there, this place is empty. The loop that we're on, there's not one other camper. Now there's a loop right over that way, and there are I think one or two people that are camped out on that loop over there, but this is crazy. And so we're surrounded by the lake runs all around us. We're like on a little finger, and the lake's down there, and then the lake comes on all on this side. We were so glad to finally be out walking around. This park it's a beautiful setting. There's this lake all around you, and the dogs and us, we were tired of being cooped up in that camper, so we were glad to get out and get a walk in. Toledo Bend has the same type of arrangement we saw at Lake Lurleen in Alabama, which is where you back your RV in here, and then just outside your front door, you've got your own nice deck. This is a big deck, actually. And there's a view of the lake. So the first time we ever saw this concept was when we were at the Lake Lurleen, and I thought at the time it was maybe unique to this park, but it looks like it's not. Having the little deck by your campground is something that you see. That's a good thing. Another feature of this park that was unique, it had a boat dock right there at the campground. So if you had a boat or someone you know had a boat, they could pull the boat up and you could walk right up to the campground area. So that was kind of neat. Also, we noticed on the map they had one of those interpretive centers, kind of meeting area, and this thing was really grand. It had a beautiful view off the back of it of the Toledo Bend Reservoir. There's some more trails. The lake has lots of these little fingers and tributaries that come up into the park, which we were getting to enjoy. That afternoon we headed on into what there was of town. This is a pretty remote area. There wasn't much out here at all other than the dam. And I like to get fuel on the day I'm not hooked up to the camper. That way the next day, if we're not going that far, I don't have to stop for fuel. So our big outing of the day was to get on into town and see if we could get some diesel fuel, what there was of town. Also, it was interesting, the state line, as you drove along the dam is when you passed the state line. Big outing of the day, we came up to the trading post. It's a one-stop shop. And since it was such a remote area, we had our meals planned, or we had our food ready to eat there at the camper that night. So we were heading back to the camper and getting ready for another travel day tomorrow. We were headed to Percy Quinn State Park, just outside of Macomb, Mississippi. We will see you guys on the road.